Hello guys, and today we're going to be doing another episode of the FPS tutorial. Now the last episode was basically kind of just a small introduction-ish. So, because now we're actually going to get into making a actual FPS framework. So, to begin, we'll go on the baseplate map once again. And this time, we're going to actually start making it. So first of all, we're going to need to create a local script in starter player, and then we'll go with starter character scripts to be most safe. If you don't know what starter player is, it's basically where it allows us to put like scripts and things inside the player. So starter character scripts puts scripts inside the character, inside like our player model, and then starter player scripts just puts scripts inside the player. We're going to go with starter character scripts. So first of all, we're going to create a new local script here. If you can't see it here, then you can type local script or just local, and it'll appear anywhere. Appear here. It might also appear some other stuff like localization table, but you want to create a local script. So I'll create a local script here, and with that I'll also have this default print hello world text. And if you were to run your game with this local script, as you can see, it'll just say hello world, and because this script is inside the player, if I were to reset my character, basically meaning my character disappears and then reappears, it should say hello world again. As you can see, it just did right there, and that's because resetting my character makes it so it basically kills my old character and recreates it. So this script will get inserted into that new character, making the code run again. Anyways, it's not too important, so let's begin. So in order to begin, we need something called a view model, and you can basically think of a view model as kind of like the thing you see, like your arms holding the gun and all that. Like you'll see once we start actually creating. Now to create the view model, you just want to create a new part. Now I just want you to know this. Make sure the part is not anchored or has can collide on. That will cause issues with the framework. Make sure it is not anchored and not can collide. You do not want the anchored or can collide to be on. They can cause issues, big issues. So, anyways, apart from that warning, let's make kind of like a arm. Very blocky arm we'll make. This will just be our arm for our framework. And we'll scale it down a bit, so I'll change this move to perhaps maybe 0.5 studs. And then just scale it once, hold shift, and then move this down by a bit, and then set that back to 1. So that seems pretty fair, seems pretty good. So we'll just duplicate that for the second arm. And then maybe we'll hold control, Then maybe we'll hold control. So we'll click on this and then hold control and click on the other part. And then we'll use this scale tool to maybe increase the size of the arms, make them a bit bigger. Maybe we'll go back to 0.1 and or maybe you can. I think the size looks good. Maybe we could use a bit more spacing of the arms, perhaps, or I think that's good-ish. So, anyways, now once we have both arms, what we'll do is that we'll change the color of these arms. So again, we'll click on any random arm, and then hold control and click the other one. And then we'll give it a skin color, so we can select tons of colors here, and as you can see, you can kind of see a preview. So if I select over blue, the arms are going to look blue. You can kind of see like a preview. I think I'm going to choose this color, pastel brown. You can choose whatever color you want. You can also choose the color by changing this color thing. It's a bit more complicated because it uses RGB values, which I'm not going to get into, but you can Google that if you want to know about that. So now we're going to name these arms because not having them named can also get a bit problematic. So let's name the left arm right here, to left arm, so left arm. And then we'll do the same with the right one, right arm. Now once we have these arms named, it's time to make something called a primary part, which is basically kind of like a point that allows us to move this model around. Or here, let's actually make this a model. Again, click on one of the random parts, then hold Control, and click on the other, and then press Control G on your keyboard, and then it'll create a model, which then will allow you to move both arms at the same time. We'll just go to the select tool here. So then we'll just name this model to something like Viewmodel. And then what we'll do is that we'll make a primary part. So a primary part is like whenever we want to move this model, you're going to want to move it by a certain point. So for example, let's say I want to move this model by here. So that means if I move this point by 1, the entire model on the side is going to move because the point you want to move it at is on the side. And it's the same thing for all other parts of the model. So what a primary part is, it's basically that point. You can think of it. Basically that point that allows us to move it around. So to create a primary part, we'll just create a normal part. Again, just like I said before, do not make this anchored nor have can slide on. That will cause issues. So you're going to want to scale. Maybe just make this like an even cube here. And we'll make this cube invisible by changing the transparency to 1. And then we'll rename this cube to humanoid root part. Because we're going to be using a humanoid for this model. Just so we can have animation handling and things like shirts handled for us. So put this cube called humanoid root part in the middle, in between of our arms. Maybe move it up a bit, like right there. So it's kind of like floating in the air. And again, you want to remember, this is the part it's going to be moved by. So when this model is going to be set with our camera, this is what it's going to look like. And if we move, like, right here is what it's going to look like when the view model is placed on our camera. And if we move this down a bit, down a bit, this is what it's going to look like. If we move it this way, then this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like when we place the view model on our camera. So we want to be cautious. Be cautious on where you place your humanoid root part. Place it in a spot you think is good. So now what we're going to want to do is make sure the humanoid root part is inside the view model. Now that's pretty easy. All I have to do is set its parent property. So click on parent and then click on the view model. Or if you want, you can like drag it around and then you can kind of like select where it is, but you want it to be inside the view model. So now once it's inside the view model, we're going to want to use a plugin called Rig Edit. Now, if you want to know how to get or find this plugin, then what you can do is go to the models, the toolbox, go to the marketplace, change this models to plugins, and type Rig Edit. And you're going to want to get, if you can afford the plus version, you can buy that, but you can get the light version, which I have installed, if you don't want to buy anything. So now, once you have that installed, you want to go to the plugins tab here, and you're going to want to use this rig edit. And by the way, if you are going to install rig edit, then you're going to want to save this on your computer. Save your project on your computer. You can do that by going to File, and then Save to File, or Save to Roblox. I'm assuming you know how to save things to Roblox or File. If not, then you might want to look up maybe a tutorial about that, or something. So once you have rig edit, what you're going to want to do is click on the model, and then you click on edit rig. And then what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to click on the humanoid root part. Actually, hold on. You might want to duplicate the humanoid root part and then call that torso. So then you're going to want to click on the torso, and then hold Control, and then click on perhaps the left arm. And then click this button called Create Joints. And then click on the torso again, hold Control, and then click on the other arm, so the right arm. And then click Create Joints again. And then you're also, for the humanoid root part, you're going to want to click on the humanoid root part, and then click on the torso, and then create joints. So then you can simply just click Edit Rig again, and that will make Rig Edit go away. And then finally, what you're going to want to do is set the primary part. Well, not finally, just set the primary part to the humanoid root part. And then now, we're going to want to specify, so on our view model, we have to specify a position where our gun is going to be. So to do that, we'll create a part, and we'll kind of like go back to the 0.1 thing and scale the part. Kind of like that. And then we're going to turn off the move. Go to the move tool and then move it like right there-ish. Right there-ish. Right here, yeah, right there. And maybe we'll even out the position here, so okay, I think this is good for now. Or good maybe that. Okay, so this seems good. So then what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to make this invisible by setting it to transparency 1. And then we'll rename this to like something like weapon place. And again, make sure Cannon Collide and Anchored are off, because again, big problems. And then set it inside the view model, and then go back to rig edit. And for the weapon place, rig it with whatever arm it's on. So in this case, it's the right arm. We're going to click Create Joints. And then finally, to make sure our rig is properly rigged, and by the way, make sure rig edit is closed, we're going to go to this animations thing here and click on our, you have to add a view model, a humanoid inside the view model. And then what we're going to do is go back to this animation editor and click on this. Now it says rig errors detected. That means we've rigged our view model wrong. So when that happens, you're going to want to close the animation editor, go back to rig edit, and you're going to want to delete the joint that's causing the problem. So in this case, it's this joint. It's not that joint. I can select it here, the joint that's causing the problem is the right arm joint inside weapon place. You're going to want to delete that. So then what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to click at the right arm and then hold control and then click on the weapon place and click create joints. You want to make sure the weapon place joint is inside the right arm. Now you can ensure that by making sure you click on the right arm first, then hold control and then click the weapon place. So that's how you can make sure of that. So you want to close rig edit, and then once you've fixed the issue, you can click on your model, and if it doesn't give you a rig errors detected, that means you're fine. So here, we'll also create an animation, or no, we're not going to create any animations anytime soon. So now once we have our view model, we can set the view model's origin position to 0, 0, 0. And then we can just set the parent to replicated storage. So now we're going to go back to that local script we created. We'll rename the local script to something sensible like gun framework or a weapon framework, perhaps. Or I just spelled that. Weapon framework. And inside the weapon framework, we'll start coding a bit. So first of all, what we'll do, what we'll do is that we'll wait for the game to load. Chances are by the time this script starts running, the game has loaded, but you never know. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to get a game service called Players, which basically allows us to get information about the current player who's playing the game, and a bunch of other stuff. So first of all, we want to know our character, and our character is simply just the script's parent, because remember, the script is going to be placed inside character, so the parent of the script will be the character. So then we can figure out the player by typing local player and then using a functions in the player's service called get player from character. So we'll use that. So players get player from character, and then we'll give it the player's character. So now we know the player, and now we have the character. So now once we've done that, we can get the replicated storage service, which will allow us to get that view model thing. And then we can initialize the model as replicated storage, wait for child view model. Again, chances are by the time the script runs, the view model inside replicated storage here will probably have already loaded, but just to be safe, you'll want to put that always. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to create a module script inside replicated storage. We're going to rename this module script to Viewmodel module. And then you're going to want to replace this local module with local Viewmodel module. And then this place where it says return module, replace that with return Viewmodel module. And then what you're going to want to do is that you're going to type function Viewmodel module.spawn. And then we're going to want the model. So first of all, we'll initialize the camera. So the camera is workspace.current camera. So what we'll do is that we'll basically copy the model and put it inside the camera. So to copy it, what we'll do is that we'll type view model clone, and then we'll put a wait for the view model to load, and we'll parent the view model to the camera. So that's what we're going to write there, and then we'll make another function, model module dot display model. So we'll get the run service here. Step. I'll set the view model to the camera. Okay, so for now, I think that's a nice place to leave off. I hope you guys enjoyed the basics. So I'll see you next week in the next episode, or who knows, maybe next day. I don't know. But anyways, goodbye.